damn, I was merrily well, not merrily, but I was talking away, and the damn thing wasn't recording, and I thought it was. Anyway, probably just as well because there was a dog fight a minute ago. Anyhow, my subject was justice. And I was saying that I've had reason to give this a great deal of thought. I'm not somebody who's harboured serious thoughts of vengeance or punishment for the people that hurt me. All I ever really wanted was basically for them to stop hurting me and to understand. And I came to realise a long time ago that there was absolutely nothing that could be done to these people that would in any way make up for what they did to me. You know, them suffering for what they did to me wouldn't make me feel any better. The only thing that would concern me is that the teacher who was a child pornographer needs to be stopped. He's probably dead now, but I don't know that. And unfortunately I got nowhere with the police. They didn't seem particularly interested. And he's the only one where I felt that something ought to have been done to stop him being able to do to other children what he did to me. But I still wouldn't want him treated badly. Kept away from children, yes. But I'm afraid I'm not one of these people that would spit on him and kick him to death and all that nonsense I hear people go on about. And sometimes I hear it from people who were not victims themselves, and I think to myself, what on earth are you going on about? Why? You know, doesn't it ever... It just has never made sense to me. Not even when I was a boy. I never bullied when I was a boy. I never bullied back. As I said, I just wanted it all to stop. So, of course, if when we die, we're dead, and that's the end of it, well then that's really the end of it. And there is no justice of any type whatsoever. And never will be. And so you might as well get on and live your life as best as you can, because that's really the best vengeance. I've had the most wonderful vengeance that one can have, because I have a really good life. I'm happy. You know, I have my dogs, I have John, I have a home, I feel good about myself, because I finally understand that the problem was never me, it was always them. And you know, I no longer believe the lie. And I also no longer believe the spiritual lies that were taught to me either. I have a life that I never dreamed possible. Well, I didn't even dream about a life, really. All I ever dreamt about was being pain-free. In other words, not feeling. It never occurred to me that they were good feelings and that I could feel happy and be happy and content, generally speaking. And if you told me that I could have a disease like I have and be in constant pain, and even with medication, I mean, I've had 60 milligrams of morphine so far today, and this is on top of the tramadol and paracetamol and the amitriptyline and the gabapentin, and you'd think I'd be comfortable, but I'm not. But that's okay, because there's fuck all I can do about it. You know, I'm not willing to be so doped up that I'm not living. And anyway, I believe the next stage in painkillers might start to affect my ability to go out and drive and all that sort of thing. So I'm not willing to go there. And as usual, I've gone off the point. What was my point? Right, yes. it's getting back to vengeance. Now, it occurred to me as a possible idea, I'm only saying this as an idea, that if in fact we do survive death, and I believe that we do, I believe that consciousness is separate from our bodies, and I don't really care what you think, but there is a lot of evidence, scientific evidence, that proves this, even though there are those that refuse to believe it, because they have ideological reasons for refusing to believe it, not sound scientific ones. If you doubt that, then read Chris Carter, who's an Oxford Don, and he's written books on the subject, and he'll explain it all quite clearly. But anyway, so I was thinking, well, what really would be justice? Well, justice would be these people feeling how they made me feel, because that's the only possible thing that makes any sense. And they would have to feel it the way I felt it, not the way they would feel it if it happened to them, or what they would feel if it happened to them, but really what I felt. They would have to feel my terror, my grief, my pain. And I think that possibly, you know, I'm sure you've heard that people have this life review thing, that people who've had near-death experiences have a life review. Well, if that happens, I think that we get to feel everything that we cause somebody else to feel, whether we cause them to feel joy or whether we cause them to feel pain. I can't think of anything else that's more logical than that. Otherwise, the whole thing's a mute point, I think is the correct... No, maybe not. But if that isn't what happens, then I really cannot think of anything else that would make any difference. Because I don't know about you, but all I ever wanted was to be understood. And for these idiots to understand the agony they were causing me. And there are people who are really that sick and twisted that they wouldn't have given a shit anyway. But I can't believe that of everybody. You know, I do think that if some people understood the pain that they caused other people, they would stop. And it's no good saying, oh, I'm not really a racist, I just don't like black people, or I'd rather not have them as neighbours, but I wouldn't treat one badly. You know, well, I'm sorry, but that just sort of, when a black person's beaten up and killed just because of the colour of their skin, you've added to the atmosphere that allows that to happen. And I think people who are racist or homophobes, they don't get that. They don't get that they are actually creating the atmosphere, and particularly the religious lot. Who cloak their bigotry in righteousness. They're the worst. They really are the worst. Evil. And what they do is evil. I refuse to believe that people are evil, because if I say that, then it tells, I'm saying by saying that people can't change, and that I know is not true. I believe that you can change. I do believe that you can be born again, because I feel that's what happened to me. You know, I'm not the person I was. Not at all. And there's no point saying, oh, I'm the person I should have always been, because, no, I'm not. I'm the person I am because of everything that happened, and how I dealt with it, and what I thought about it, and how I recovered from it. There's no getting away from that. I will never be the person that I would have been had I been born into a loving family that wanted me and accepted me for who I was. That didn't happen. So maybe I would have been one of these boring farts who nothing much ever happened to. You know, they had a normal, stable upbringing. They end up being really boring. and seeming to have no understanding at all of what life is like for people who didn't have that, and how it shapes their whole viewpoints. It really does. The one thing I have noticed, and this is really going to upset people, I know this, but never mind. Every person that I have ever met that has had a life like mine, none of them are right-wing in their political views. Well, that's it really. I don't suppose that's a scientific fact, but I've never met any anyway. So I'm busy sitting here thinking, is that true? Have I met any? Do I know any? Possibly. But anyway, that's sort of... None of my friends are right-wing anyway, but I suppose that's sort of fairly obvious. So I'm busy listening to what these dogs are doing. They're wrecking something. What are you doing? Leave my box alone. I know it's only cardboard, but it's a delivery I've had. They're busy unpacking it for me. Ink! Brother ink! For my printer. Very cheap. From Amazon. £17 for 20 of them. Anyhow. So, going back to this idea of justice. All I know is that I wouldn't feel good or better. The thing is, I've got to feel good and I've got to feel better without anything to do with them. They have absolutely no control over me whatsoever. You know, I have the life I have because of me, not because of them. And don't get me wrong, I don't have any good feelings towards them either. I just don't have any bad feelings towards them. You know, I don't want them punished. I just think it is really stupid to wish people anything other than peace. Because if they're right, whatever impolite word I was about to say, then in order for them to stop being a right, they would need to be at peace, wouldn't they? It's only people who are right, are just people who aren't at peace. So it seems stupid to want to cause them more distress. Oh dear. Well, I think I've pontificated enough. And the dog's staring at me. She's staring me down again. Come on in. Come on, come and say hello. Such a strange dog this. She never makes a noise. She never forces herself on me, but she'll sit and stare, dropping great big hints with those eyes of hers. Come on in. Move your ass. That's it. And she's very gentle. She's careful about the way she jumps on me. It's almost like she instinctively knows that she mustn't hurt me. Oh. It's alright. That wasn't you that's hurting me. I'm just trying to move my hip a bit. Oh, I beg your pardon. Charming, she just burped. I don't know if you noticed that. Oh. Oh, that's it. Oh dear. That's it. Oh. That's enough. Oh dear. This is such a dangerous thing to have done, to let myself get this close to a dog, but I couldn't help it with her. She forced herself on me, didn't you? She's such a sweet-natured thing. Although having said that, she just told one of the puppies off, which is really unusual. She rarely ever does anything like that. But you did, didn't you? You told your nephew off. You had him on his back. Did. Slammed him right down on the floor, got him round the throat. He took notice. I don't know what he was doing. Anyhow, at least I have recorded this. And, sorry, this last couple of minutes has probably got rather boring. Maybe the whole lot was very boring, I don't know. But if you thought it was, well, tough. You can't get those few minutes back, can you? But I might have given you something to think about. You know, the best way to be free of people is not to wish harm on them. You know, don't harbour resentment and anger and the desire for vengeance, because you'll never be free of them. You know, you're away from them. They can't abuse you anymore. So don't ruin your life. You know, I think about them, and I'm just glad I'm not them. Life could have been much worse. I could have been them. Or I could have been like them, which is, I guess, what I mean. And I'm not. Am I? No. Oh, dear me. You know, and I think about how unhappy they must be. And my conscience is clear. And you need to leave yours clear too. You know, because vengeance won't. You know, I think a lot of people don't understand that everyone has reasons for doing what they do. And just because your reason for wanting to hurt somebody is because they hurt you doesn't make it better. It still makes it bad. That's not logical. Anyway, like I said, I am going. But I haven't done one of these for a while, so I thought I would. And this is what several years of therapy does. I don't know if you can read this. But it's... Can you see what it says? Yes, I think you can, just about. That's me. Yeah, I wish. Anyway, bye.